Here he is, but he's being dropped this time. He's precious close to the summit, but Sergei Khonchar is being unhooked here, and he's riding there just for the moment, at least, on the back wheel of Sylvain Calzati, the man who won into Lorient.
Well, it's not too bad at the moment. Don't
legs.
forget, this man is a very good individual time trialist. What you do in a situation like this is do not panic. Try and find a reasonably comfortable level. If you can find a comfortable level on the slopes of a climb, try and limit your losses. Don't push it over too much into the red zone, because if you do and you blow, you will never come back. He's still got a very good chance to catch up on the descent, and of course, it's a long 40-kilometer ride from the top of this summit down to the finish line in Pau.
Well, he's had a bad day, but he hasn't lost the ground yet. George Hincapie, right dead centre right with the glasses on his helmet there. He's keeping an eye on everything just now. Looks as though Rasmussen is finding his climbing legs on the right as well, alongside Kessler.
Popovic over there as well. The three Discovery riders looking comfortable: Azevedo, Hincapie, and of course Popovic. Now I would think a quick calculation, the current standings in the King of the Mountains classification would give 39 points to Cyril Dessel, 32 points to Mercado, and of course Jérôme Pinault just holding on to his third spot with 28. But big change today.
Well, we expected change today. Pinault is not the big climber. These boys can climb mountains, but have they made a mistake and allowed some real potential winners to break clear of the pack? Only the days ahead are going to answer that one. Right now, Dessel is thinking only of yellow as they come off the Col de Marie-Blanc.
What these guys need to do now is just look around, look at the long road behind them, because this man is just 13 seconds in arrears. If they want to survive and hold on to a large part of their event, see how the referees have stopped the cars there. If the two leaders now look back, they'll see this orange jersey coming up to the front. 3 pairs of legs, Phil, in a situation like this are better than 2.
I quite agree, and Rinero could get back and Moreni could get back, but the rest I think have gone too far back. They've gone over the top 2.5 minutes down. I don't think they'll bridge that gap. There's all the campers out. They've been there all night waiting for the arrival of the Tour de France. Leaving the Col de Marie-Blanc, they'll be moving off into the hills all around us now for the big day tomorrow, the giant Col de Tourmalet.
Michael
Rasmussen. Look at this. Rasmussen, King of the Mountains last year. We all remember his disastrous time trial on the penultimate day when he crashed a couple of times, had flat tyres, but he still kept his King of the Mountains title. Now he's showing them he's finding his legs again.
Well, he's thinking he might get a first few
Carlos
mountain
de Cruz
points.
here, he was in the breakaway.
Yep. This is an interesting move by Rasmussen. I'm not quite sure if he's thinking about King of the Mountains points. He might get the 8th place finish as he gets up to the top, but it's a long ride down to the finishing line. He's trying to turn the tables around. He said there is no animosity between himself and Denis Menchov, who the Team Rabobank believe is the leader of their squad. This is the white jersey at the back. He's also in difficulty. Marcus Foten.
Possible star of the future, this lad, but he's very young yet, and he's learning the Tour de France this time around.
Well, I wonder if the move there by Rasmussen is this is Leipheimer now in difficulty, 41.
Well, this is a big surprise. Towards the top of the Col de Marie-Blanc, Levi Leipheimer's converting what I thought was a great day into a not-so-great day. Not with tomorrow, because he's only been riding in the peloton, not in the breakaway, and the day tomorrow is terribly difficult. Levi seems to have gone into a spot of bother here.
Well, he's suffering to stay in contact, but he will have a teammate alongside, and Marcus Foten. They may well create somewhat of a surprise. This is also coming off the back here. Cunego, the man who's won the Giro d'Italia in the past, he too can't stand the pace which is being set at the front.
Well, this is absolutely amazing, the way this tour is going at the moment. It's becoming a battle between Discovery Channel, Phonak and T-Mobile. They are the teams driving at the front. Cunego's very first Tour de France. He's a magical in the Tour of Italy. He's in trouble now.
The yellow jersey, though, is still there. He was yo-yoing, but he's just looking at, he's just riding on courage, Phil. You've said it so many times over 21 years that we've commentated together. The yellow jersey does something special to a man. He doesn't want to lose it. He wants to keep that yellow tunic for another day.
As far as we know, 7 riders have gone over the top. We're not seeing them go over. We're concentrating on what is the action here. So this might be an 8th place sprint for Matt Rasmussen, who got away from the peloton pretty easily there. He gets 5 points if he is in that position in the King of the Mountains today. Now he's going to wait for the rest. No point in racing on. Now you see him snatch that newspaper there. Well, that's because they want to stuff it up the jersey and stop the wind going through onto the chest. because they are very, very wet with sweat now, and they'll get a chill on the way down.
I think a lot of riders will recover on the descent. We're not far from the summit of the climb now. Sinkiewicz setting the tempo there for Andreas Kloden. The yellow jersey, last man in this group, which has been reduced to around about 30 riders. I think Levi Leipheimer will recover, but look at the time gap to the leaders, 9 minutes 17 seconds.
Well, we know who's going to win, but will he win by 3 minutes 50 seconds? That's what's required now for the maillot jaune to change shoulders. Well, 10 kilometers, that's 6 miles. That's about, the way they're riding at the moment, will be about 11.5 minutes to the finish. You can't pull 9 minutes back or anything like now, so there's no doubt who's going to be the leader of the Tour.
No doubt there's going to be a brand new yellow jersey at the end of this afternoon. And the funny thing is, Phil, there could be a brand new leader again tomorrow afternoon.
This is Iban Mayo. Now, where is he? He's with Tom Bone, and he must be with Robbie McEwen.
He must be with the sprinters, so that's an indication
Totally
that
out
the Big
of it.
Hope is out of the Tour this afternoon. He's not going to ride into the top 10 now.
Well, these boys must wonder what on earth he's doing with them. These are the non-climbers. Tom looks as relaxed as ever. Routine stage for Tom Bonen. If you can't win the Tour de France, wait for the flatter roads. And this little group here cruising towards Pau now. Now T-Mobile have got themselves a tempo ride here. They've given away the yellow jersey. They didn't defend it today, but they did their part as a team. They wanted to defend it, I think, but they realized they couldn't control it, and they thought it's better to get rid of it now. This is Vladimir Karpitz, Russian rider.
Well, he's a man who's had the white jersey in the Tour de France as well.
Mayo, isn't it? No, because there's Cunego, so this is the front group.
Yeah. So he's in the front group. There is
Claude,
the leader of T-Mobile. Also Ruano, just a little guy at the back there, is the Venezuelan rider who may well be a dark horse for tomorrow.
And here's Flambard. This race may be coming back here.
Little sign there at the bottom. You might just have seen Gruppetto. That's the group at the back of the race, or we call it very often the Autobus. That's a group of riders who are just trying to survive the stage here this afternoon. Those are normally made up of the sprinters. We've seen a lot of the big sprinters in that group.
The maillot jaune has come to play his part in the tempo riding at the front. All they can do now is just about hang on to what they've lost for the day, because they're not gaining at all. 9:33, the latest time check. The maillot jaune of Sergei Gonchar is setting the pace.
Well, they're not at all making any dent into the advantage of these riders, because it's 9.5 minutes and they're conserving the majority of that. They're inside of 5 kilometers to go now. Bit of a tricky entrance into the finishing line, because they go around the finishing place of the Place de Verdun and then 2 left-hand turns into the finishing straight. I would think any bike rider in the sport, Phil, knows the finishing line here, because it's been the same finishing line in Pau for many, many years.
Well, gone is the iron grip of Lance Armstrong these past 7 years. I can't recall a race coming away from the mountain stage to a finish with riders spread all over the road. You've got Dessel and Mercado. Then at 1 minute 1 second, Landeluz. At 1 minute 39, you've got Moreno Rinero. And then at 9:33, you've got the peloton. There are others, but I think they're not too sure where they are anymore.
No, they have no idea where the rest of the field is.
Look at this.
Well, this is probably...
This is the Gruppetto.
This is probably Auger, who's a local rider. He lives in Pau.
Yeah.
He was in the breakaway the other day. He moved down here, actually from the north of France. And I think the crowd's turning out to support him.
Well, we used to see that 40 years ago when they used to do all that, but we didn't expect to see it this year.
Well, also Walter Beneteau, who's a rider from the Vendée region, he actually moved down to Biarritz for the advantage of training in the big mountains.
Well, there's the banner. That's the 10K to go banner, and that is the Gruppetto. I know this is it. This is the main field at 10K to go. So we are running 7 kilometers ahead of the peloton with the leader.
Big difference. This man now keeps looking up the road there, and at the end of that road he can see a yellow jersey, and for him that is going to be a phenomenal moment for France. A double header as well, as he's not only going to take the yellow jersey, he'll take the lead in the King of the Mountains classification, and he's probably wondering whether he can muster enough anger to beat Juan Miguel Mercado, because if you look at the amount of time over that they've shared the lead over the last few kilometers, 100% of the work has been done by Dessel.
at 3 kilometers from the line. We are now in the streets of Pau. We'll shortly be racing across to the Place de Verdun. It may not be a French stage winner because Juan Miguel Mercado has now decided to sit on the back here, so he gets the element of surprise to win the day. But that's a wild card team invited to ride the Tour de France. Here they come. But the man who's going to be the happiest of the pair, well, that's going to be the boy in blue, because Cyril Dessel now, there's no doubt, he is going to be the 5th different leader of this year's Tour de France.
And I don't think he's going to be the last leader of the Tour de France, because I think we've got a lot more changes in sight as we go into the Pyrenees again for a very difficult stage. And then, of course, we go across the bottom of France, where the weather is exceptionally hot, around about 35 degrees Celsius. That's where the riders will race hard and not really recuperate well at night. And then they go into a very difficult last week of racing in the Alps. 1.5 miles to go, just inside of 3 kilometers to go to the finish, and not too far away now from the very heart of Pau, which many riders in the Tour de France know from the times that the race has been here before.
Well, just about 2.5 kilometers still to ride here. Dessel, Mercado heading up towards the finish. We're right downtown now, but soon we'll be out in the Place for the big finish. Dessel, we think they had a chat earlier on, and I think Dessel said he wanted to win everything today, so Mercado said, right, you can do the work and I'll still win the sprint. That looks to be the situation.
That looks to be the situation, because basically over the last 10 minutes and the last 5 or 6 kilometers, Mercado has just sat there in second place. Look at the leader's speed, down to 17 kilometers an hour there as they come up this very nasty hill into the Place de Verdun.
That's the little hill.
Yeah, this is the small hill at the end of a very long day in the mountains. Dessel keeps looking over his shoulder. He's waiting for the move. The move won't come until the last 300 or 400 meters.
The actual finish is on the left shoulder of the riders here. We're going around the square first, though. And look at this, you think we're on a track finish now on a velodrome, because Dessel is determined not to give up this one without a fight. I hope Mercado's got some fresh legs for the sprint finish. He should have, at 1.8 kilometers to go now. And the Frenchman knows the yellow jersey. He can't afford to throw time away playing around for the win. Every second to that man means a bigger lead in yellow.
Well, the important thing is he's got to race for time. He's not got to think about the stage victory this afternoon, because every second, every minute that he can gain over the other guys in this race could mean an extra day in the yellow jersey. He could find himself holding on to that yellow jersey again tomorrow, and if he does, and then we go out of the Pyrenees, he could be the yellow jersey all the way up to the Alps. But he keeps looking over his shoulder. He's nervous, he's waiting, he can see the Flamme Rouge in front of him, a kilometer to go. The sad thing is that he has to keep riding, as Cadel Evans did 1 year ago in a similar situation. Forget about a stage victory, think about a high place in the overall standings.
There is the kite, 1 kilometer from the finish, 40 kilometers into the stage. They went clear with 15 riders. Now 1 kilometer from the end, there are 2 of them. The one in blue gets yellow. Who gets the stage win? And the way Dessel is looking here at Mercado, he's not going to give in without a fight. Mercado won a stage of the Tour when he was last in it in 2004. That was on Lons-le-Saunier. But now, I think he's going to get win number 2.
Well, they're making the big sweeper at the top end of the Place de Verdun. They've got another left-hand bend, and then they will line up. And it's a very nice finishing straight here. A big, wide finishing straight. A huge boulevard in the Place de Verdun. The Rue Michelot. Nervous moments now. What's he going to do? He's going to have to back off the sprint, looking over his shoulder all the time. As you said, Phil, this is almost like a track sprint. He's waiting for the first man to move.
They're looking at each other. He's almost smiling as they go into the corner. They might be going to go side by side and just say the best man wins the race here. No, I'm not too sure that's going to happen, because Mercado wants this sprint. He's lost the lead in the King of the Mountains, though he'll wear the polka dot jersey tomorrow, because Dessel will be wearing the yellow jersey. But they both want the stage win, and that tells you just how much credence they put on a stage win in the Tour de France. Who's going to make the first move?
You've got to wait. You've got to go very slow when you've been in a long breakaway like this, because you don't have the power to go for 350 meters. They probably won't start till about 250. Here it goes.
Mercado was actually looking as though he's pretending he wasn't there, but now he's gritting his teeth and he's going for the line now. Surely he's got the advantage of riding the slipstream of Dessel. Dessel will get second, I think. Mercado will get the win, just like he did at Lons-le-Saunier. Oh, will he? Oh, yes, he did, but that was a super final effort by Cyril Dessel. They both get the same time. Dessel gets the yellow jersey.
Well, the Tour de France edition of Deal or No Deal obviously ended in no deal, so there was a proper sprint and Mercado won it. And perhaps he'll use the prize money to buy a helmet that fits. Inigo Landaluce rolled in alone just under a minute later, followed by the remains of the 7-man group.